everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Collection Comic of the Week. The book I have chosen for this week is Supreme Power, issue number 1. And this is a book from the Marvel Max line. It was kind of like their more adult imprint, kind of like even more adult themed than the Marvel Knights series that was going on. And, just kind of really, you see the explicit content, right there. Marvel Knights had a PG rating. This is parental advisory to the max, I guess you could say. And the reason I chose this particular book is on the last episode, I looked over a book that I picked up in a long box at a comic book convention, the most recent comic book convention I attended. This was a book that I found under the same circumstances at the very first comic book convention I ever went to, Wizard World St. Louis. Digging through long boxes, trying to figure out, more shit to buy. And they had this book, and it was a number 1, so I knew by buying this book, I wouldn't be shortchanging myself or putting myself, on a wild goose chase all over eBay or Midtown Comics or My Comic Shop or what have you, trying to find out how the story began, potentially paying a large sum of money because it's the first issue. So I picked this up along with a few other issues and was really enjoyed the book, and then unfortunately just got caught up and got busy that I kind of just let it go. One thing, this is one of those stories, as great as it was, I kind of fell out of it. And reading this again, I'm definitely wanting to pick up where I left off and track down those books, time permitting. But yeah, it's a disturbing story. It's a very disturbing story. It's kind of like a dark take on Superman. Is pretty much what it is. It is Superman origin story is pretty well exactly the same, only, it breeds hope and optimism and brightness and happiness. And while a lot of modern comic fans want to puke at that and what have you, that's not the debate for this episode. This is kind of what, they would want out of Superman. At least in terms of tone and I guess realism. And it's definitely not for everybody. Even for fans of people who feel that that's an era gone by, this still may not be the book for you, but it's an interesting book by a writer I really appreciate, JMS, J. Michael Straczynski, and, well, let's check it out. If you think about it, it is kind of a disturbing cover. Obviously there have been more disturbing things to be depicted in comic books over the years, but, just kind of, I don't know, unsettling's maybe the better word. Open this up. Advertisement for Tomb Raider. Now Laura sounds as hot as she looks. Okay, that's very outdated and definitely, yeah. Okay, so, kind of what they're going with here, as you can see, elderly farm couple driving through the countryside, baby crashes in. A lot more, again, kind of like it being a dark version of Superman, almost, or not even almost, just that's kind of what it is. Definitely a more unsettling way of depicting this. You're so used to, even in the more serious interpretations of Superman and more modern interpretations of that story, it's still a very wholesome moment, them finding Clark in the ship. But here, the baby looks fearful. There's ooze all over the baby. It's definitely not something to, you know, breed optimism. And there you go. Advertisement for the movie Grind. They're going to take the baby home. And then the government shows up. And then the SWAT team shows up. And basically say, you know, they want him to raise him as an American. They want to raise the baby as an American. And yeah. And here's this. They're trying to keep the facade. This is the couple trying to keep, the facade of the all-American family. And a MidtownComics.com announcement. This was bought after I was buying from Midtown Comics, but made before I knew what they were. So hats off to them for being the powerhouse they are in comics. And let's see some more of the day-to-day Mark Mitten. Trying to talk to him. It's basically trying to train the baby. 1602, a book that everybody should check out. More. Yeah. They got a puppy for the baby. And trying to see how the baby interacts with the puppy. And, this part I don't like. I don't like this part. But, it just shows that he does not like, David does not like confrontation. We're going to get off that page, because I don't like that. But then he feels bad about doing that. So, yeah. Kind of more of the story goes from there, and some escapades happen there. JLA Avengers by the great George Perez. Something, God, I wish the companies would lay down their arms and do something like this again, but unfortunately we're not here to talk about that right now. Gonna have more talk between the parents, swearing each other to secrecy about how Mark killed the puppy. None of this. Pretty obviously trying to be George Bush Sr. right there. They're not even hiding it. Not even like what they do today in modern comics where everybody's Trump, like where they at least hide it and it's not exactly Trump. They're not even hiding the fact that that's HW right there. Once more. It's a book like kind of with JMS. JMS is a wonderful author and writer, but he is much like another writer I really enjoy, Jeff Loeb. He is dialogue heavy, and you have got to you got to be ready to read when you're reading a JMS comic book or any book for that matter. JMS has done more than just comics. Yeah. There's another puppy. There's the conclusion of the book. And there's buying a DVD for a movie that wasn't very good. So don't buy this DVD, buy the director's cut if you want to see the good form of that movie. And Babylon 5, that's one of JMS's TV shows he's written. And that was Supreme Power, issue number 1. So, yeah, it's a fucked up book. But it is well written. There is something there. It's not just, you know, as much as it broke my heart and still just like, oh, dog. As much as that happened, like, it wasn't done without its reason. It wasn't just, you know, not just a bunch of, like, you know, gore-hungry assholes wanting to look like they're cool by, look, we blew up a puppy, yeah. Wasn't so much that. There was a reason for it. There was a storyline and story reason for something horrific to happen. And, like, to me, that's the hallmark of a good writer, is to take something awful but make there be a reason for it. And, you know, it was a good first issue. The other books that I do have from this series are good books, and, you know, it was a good find at my first con. Do you also own that book? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of comic books, but from the world of pro wrestling, gaming, anime, and all things geek culture. Follow me on my social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeekA9, Twitter @athletic_geekA9, Instagram @athleticgeekA9, and if you'd like to help improve this channel financially, I am on Patreon, patreon.com/athleticgeekA9. And that, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Later.